Hey Mad Minders, thanks for tuning in to Mad Minds TV. This week's episode is on my first week for organizational leadership theory. This class is a little different. I'm reading a textbook and I'm checking out scholarly articles. The textbook is called Leadership Theory in Practice. It was published in 2022. It was written by Peter Northouse. The articles and the papers I'm reading are all based on leadership. The data I've learned up to this point has changed how I view leaders and leadership because it made it very personal. The way I'm interpreting this information is there is no clear-cut definition for leadership. It's whatever you want it to be because it's the relationship that a leader has with followers. A leader is an individual. Leadership is the relationship that followers choose to have with the person that they're following. Now, there's a difference between following somebody because you want to and following somebody because you have to. Part of the reason why I got into this program was because as a professional, I saw a lot of leadership styles I didn't agree with. And I met a lot of leaders that I didn't think were very good. And I met a lot of leaders that I thought were great. And now I realize that at that moment, it was about my perception of their values, their goals, and their beliefs. The leaders that I thought were great and good may not have been. It just may be that their values, beliefs, and goals matched mine. The leaders that I thought were not good, they may have been great. It may have just been that my values, beliefs, and my goals didn't match theirs. But because being a follower is a personal choice, that's what potentially could have defined how I viewed people that I was either forced to follow or that I chose to follow. And this actually gets pretty deep. But we're going to stop here so we can move on. A lot of the ideas that I had and the models that I created that I thought may have been original, no, not original at all. A lot of them have been around since the 1920s. In the 1920s, leadership, the relationship between leaders and followers, was the leader tells the followers what to do. Followers better listen or they deal with the consequences. 1940, the relationship changed. Leaders said, hey, let's build a relationship with followers to get a better commitment, to get a better work ethic, to get what's called buy-in. Fast forward to the 1960s, and it was something similar, but it was, hey, we have a common goal. Let's work together. Let's drive this machine forward. Then it moved to the 1980s. We're kind of branched and spanned out. Now we're going to stop. We're going to go back to 1940. We're going to go back to 1960. What happened in 1940 that may have caused a change in thinking from the 1920s, where it was about, I'm the leader, you do what I tell you to do, to the 1940s, where, hey, let's work together for a win-win. You guessed it, World War II. You're going to ask people to work 15, 16, 17-hour days to build bombs, tanks, bullets, and actually pay higher taxes for war bonds. You're going to want to make sure you market it effectively and you have their buy-in. And there's no better way to get buy-in than to say, hey, let's build a relationship, let's create some bonds, and let's make this a win-win. Fast forward to the 1960s. What happened in the 1960s that would have caused a change in leadership thinking? You got it, the space race. If you want to get the greatest minds in your society together to think of a way to put a person on the moon with the famous speech, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, you're going to have to market that effectively. And you're going to have to do it in a manner that says, hey, common goal, this is what we believe, and let's get there. Whether it's real or true or not, that's what's happening. Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. But this lets me know that leadership and the way leadership dynamics and the relationship changes can honestly be all about marketing, stress and duress, based off what's going on in history. Now I'm going to stop and ask you some questions based off the data that I provided. What do you think? What is your definition of a leader? And what's your definition of leadership? What would you like leadership to be? Do you like your leaders? Do you follow people because you're forced to follow them? Or are you following them because you want to follow them? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take another step back, and now we're going to ask ourselves, if we witnessed a change in leadership relationship dynamics in the 1940s, and we witnessed a change in dynamics in the 1960s due to stress and duress that said, hey, let's all get together for a common good, common goal, what leadership dynamic change do you think we're going to see this decade? We witnessed 2020, it go back to 1920. You do what I tell you to, or you face the consequences. And with everything happening around the world, how do you think leadership dynamics are going to be marketed to get everybody's buy-in based off some of the things that may be coming? We're putting on our foresight cap. We're going to lean forward, lean into this, and we're going to try to ask some questions and answer some questions, getting into a little bit of theory. So again, you tell me, what do you want out of a leader? What type of leadership styles do you prefer? Is leadership more than just marketing? Do leadership styles even matter if you're getting paid very well? Regardless of your answers, let me know. Even if you don't like the video, tell me in the comments and tell me why, for the purpose of improvement. With all these videos, I have to say, this is just me thinking out loud, and by no means is it advice or guidance on how to live your life, because it's your life, you do what you want with it. Whatever you do, make sure to stay mad, be well. Thanks again, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.